Hi-fi. It's good stuff. Straight out of the
Tell us what
60s.
you're doing.
Oh, yeah, hang on. You're sitting here wondering what I'm going to do today. I forgot. I need to tell you that. What I'm going to do today is Nick went out to the interwebs, YouTube sphere, and found a video that he wants me to do a reaction on. And so we're going to react to this video. We're going to see what I think of it. If you like the channel, consider subscribing. We've got some really cool stuff coming up. Really cool. Like, super cool. Says some things should never be mass produced, so every single Viking out there is handcrafted individually. And I was having some problems with my gear doors just when they shut and open being a little bit different, and they said there's no two gear doors that are exactly the same, so every single plane is going to be a little bit different, and it's just using the adjustments to make sure that they work right. And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. There was a lot I didn't know about a Super Viking when I bought one.
It's more than just a way to get from place to place. It's an experience, rare and unbounded. It's streaking through endless skies, far above the frustrations of earthbound travelers. It's the perfect union of old world craftsmanship.
The cool thing is that if you fly a Viking or you go and you look at some Vikings, these Vikings feel like Hugh Hefner in an airplane. And it's because they're like full of crushed velvet and all these things straight out of the 60s and 70s. It's like if Hugh Hefner was going to fly, he would probably fly in a Viking. I mean, that's how I feel.
In an age of mass production, only a limited number are made each year, carefully, by hand. Belanca Aircraft's heritage dates back to 1912.
Oh, they did say
when
Belanca.
Giuseppe Belanca built his first airplane. It not only flew, but made aviation history by cruising at 100 miles per hour with a tiny 38 horsepower engine. In the years to follow, Belanca continued to make aviation history. He built the first successful cabin plane that won 13 first prizes in national and international air meets. He built the second plane to cross the Atlantic.
There's no way I want to get in any of that stuff. I look back at these old pilots, and man, those guys had balls of steel, because the stuff they were floating around in the air in, pretty sketchy.
He built the first plane to successfully cross the Pacific. Later, Belanca introduced the first light plane with retractable landing gear. Certainly, Belanca has spearheaded many...
I had no idea. I had no idea that the Belanca was the first light plane with retractable gear. It's amazing. And I think up until that point, there was a lot of tail draggers and fixed gear.
But one thing has never changed. Today's Belancas are built in much the same way as Giuseppe's earliest airplanes. Slowly, individually, by concerned and careful craftsmen who aren't content to just build flying machines, but are dedicated to building aircraft unequaled in quality and performance. The Belanca is built around a hand-welded tubular steel fuselage. It's much stronger than standard aluminum construction, and much safer too. And strong steel tubing surrounds the pilot and passengers with the same kind of safety afforded by a roll bar.
Yeah, they're not kidding. So about the tubular frame construction, a couple things I've noticed is when they build race cars, they use a lot of the same type of tubing when they're building race car stuff to keep it super light and yet incredibly strong. I watched a plane land on an interstate about a year ago. One wing hit the concrete barrier, the other wing hit a vehicle in front of it, and this plane was surprisingly unharmed. I mean, a concrete barrier and a car, and it dented the whole back of that SUV. The thing you hear oftentimes with these Belanca aircraft is that everybody knows that they've got wooden wings. And like, oh my gosh, they've got wooden wings. But wood has been a building material for decades and decades and has proven itself. As long as you get a Belanca that's well maintained, that's been hangared and taken care of, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the wooden wings. And there's a lot of benefits to having a wooden wing versus an aluminum wing. If you're thinking about a Belanca aircraft, I can highly recommend them for both strength, style, and speed.
The fuselage is ready to receive component parts. Many of the parts are created right in the Belanca shop, custom made to fit each individual airplane perfectly. And that stamp means the part has passed a rigid quality control inspection. The Bellanca Viking's outer surface incorporates the advantages of 4 different materials: metal, wood, fiberglass, and Dacron. The result is unmatched for strength, durability, and resistance to corrosion and damage. Because the Bellanca is handmade, you're invited to share in planning the look and function of your aircraft. From selecting the textures
There's
and
that
colors
velvet I
of
was talking
Viking's
about.
exquisite interior, to defining the prop, avionics, and perhaps a ski tube or personal telephone. The result is virtually a custom...
Wait, did he just say they put personal telephones in Bellanca aircraft? Are you kidding me? Where's mine? I think some of them had ashtrays too, which is like, it wasn't that long ago you could smoke an aircraft. Kind of blows your mind to think of it today, but
Dozens of exterior color combinations. And whatever your choice, you can be certain it won't chip, fade, or discolor. Because Bellanca uses brilliant polyurethane paints, backed up by 8 coats of bonding and primer materials.
that's something that I think a lot of Bellanca aircraft owners struggle with, is at some point in time, because these aircraft, the fleet is aging, that people have repainted them and done poor jobs and not had a flexible enough paint. And so you see a lot of these aircraft come in and they're all cracked and stuff. Luckily, Gus is very well maintained, and some of the very small issues that we had are being taken care of in annual, and that was around the windows. And Mike Redpath down there in Oklahoma is going to fix her up good. Hopefully, with any luck, sometime very shortly after this video is released, we'll get to see the interior. And I'll tell you what, I've never been more excited. I was pretty excited for the panel, but I'm equally as excited for the new interior. It will not be velvet, to let you know. There's no velvet, no crushed velvet. I won't be getting in touch with my inner Hugh Hefner at all. So
It's shaped from over 1,800 pieces of Sitka, spruce, and mahogany. And each piece is carefully checked to ensure the perfection of the grain and the strength of the lamination. The work is meticulous and demanding and requires a high degree of skill and dedication to excellence. But one look at a Viking wing convinces you that extra time and extra effort is a small price to pay for this rare statement of pride and workmanship. Obviously, the Viking wing is unlike any other. There's not a wrinkle, a rivet, or a seam anywhere on its surface. It's perfectly smooth, perfectly aerodynamic, and incredibly strong, too.
yeah, and this is before all the composites that we have nowadays. So they were trying to do that. And when I went to the Patty Wagstaff Aviation Safety School, they had a wing from an Extra 300. And the cool thing about that wing is there was wood in it.
230 pounds. Yet it can withstand the force of up to 3 tons along its length.
3 tons. There are videos, I think there's videos or pictures where they line the entire wing with people standing on it to show and demonstrate exactly how tough these wings are. 3 tons per wing. That's incredible.
The constant flexing of flight will never cause it to fatigue.
That's a benefit of wood, is you don't have fatigue cracks.
Its interior is like none other.
Flex aluminum enough
Truly
to
luxurious,
crack.
rich with elegant appointments that provide remarkable personal
More of
comfort.
that luxurious.
With Viking's superb styling and precise handling, you know
Velvet.
she's equally built for speed and performance. The Viking has been described as the perfect blend of old-world craftsmanship and modern-day technology. Flying Magazine said of the Viking, the ailerons are unequaled in their sensitivity, smoothness, and effectiveness by any U.S. light plane.
I agree. The ailerons are amazing. So if you've never flown a Viking, I did all my training before flying a Viking. I did all my training in a 172, and to get in the Viking and just feel the roll rate and stuff like that and how responsive the plane was to roll, it's easy to see why Debbie Gary did aerobatics in it, is because it's an incredible, well-handling aircraft. It's just too bad that nobody's ever certified one to do some aerobatics, because I'd love to go out and roll mine and do stuff like that. But since it's not certified, we'll stay away from that.
And the elevator is never heavy, but always powerful. Private pilot said, it's the super feeling of the plane. It becomes an extension of your slightest wish. A small movement, and it rolls smoothly into a bank. The powerful elevators and rudder answer your every input with precise feel and action. Pilots who own and fly...
I was surprised first flying it how easy it was to trim it almost perfectly. To trim that plane and just have it fly straight and level and smooth was so much easier than the Cessna.
Often equate its precise handling to that of a sports car. The handling is complemented by its
Oh, see, there's somebody doing rolls. See, I want to do that.
or the turbo Viking.
I want to do that
You're
so
getting one
bad.
of the fastest aircraft in its class.
Yeah, that. Oh my gosh, I would love to do stuff like that in it. There's a loop. Oh. This is the half Cuban. Don't show me all that stuff and then not certify it for it. You're driving me nuts. You're killing me. You're killing me. It's the Hammerhead.
It took professional aerobatic pilot Jimmy Franklin to take the Viking to its limit. Belanca is certainly more than just a way to get from place to place. It's an experience. And if you're a pilot who finds joy in flying an aircraft built with diligent care and quality, you will appreciate the prestige and pride that's yours only when you fly and own a Belanca.
Yeah, I guarantee I've come to love the Belanca aircraft. I'm really happy with Gus. The sad part is I'm trying to decide what I want to do. I'm hoping that because this channel is so ingrained in Gus, whenever I am able to afford a different aircraft, eventually want to have a 6-seat, and my dream is kind of to own a Malibu. But I don't think that I'll ever be able to get rid of Gus. I'm becoming more and more attached to the aircraft, and I've got so much time and energy invested in making and money invested in making it exactly what I want. Really, the autopilot is the last thing to freshen up, and Gus will be like a whole new plane. So if you're thinking about a Super Viking, I highly recommend it. There's several out there. Just make sure you get a good one. Make sure that you have it checked out properly, and if you find a good plane, which there's several out there, it'll last you for a long time to come and really shouldn't be any more worrisome than owning any other aircraft. The biggest recommendation everybody has is make sure you keep them out of the humidity inside a hangar. And I think humidity is not that big a deal, but don't put it in the humidity and then never fly it. If you're going to buy it, fly it. But that's true for any plane. Otherwise, if it's just going to sit there, what's the fun in that? And until next time, you have a good dang day.